Hello, my name is Kevin and welcome to the Love Decanters channel. So this is part 3 of my visit to Lockhouse Antiques in Whilton Locks, between the M1 and the A5. And yeah, so more vintage glass, I'm afraid. They do have a Medina seahorse, so it counts as an antique centre. Yes, and what else? There's a really interesting piece of Impoli where something I've not seen before and kind of worked out even who it was made by. So anyway, let's get on and have a look at some glass. They rent out some of these cabinets, so yeah, we've got a Medina seahorse. That makes it an antique centre, so that's good. Got some wine glasses here. They're really good quality. I think this means it's Edinburgh crystal. We can try and find that. And yeah, it's quite interesting. I've not seen them before and they look really good quality. I haven't been able to find an exact match for those glasses. I still think they're Edinburgh crystal. I've piled through all of replacements.com. There is an Edinburgh crystal catalogue I have, but it's not in there either. But if you look at the way this is, it's got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes, just like that, with these 3 lines in between each spike, which is why I think it's Edinburgh crystal. They've got a few patterns with this bit on the top, and I have seen other glasses with the pattern that's at the bottom half as well in the Edinburgh crystal patterns. And so I think this is a combination of 2 of their crisscross patterns that I can't find in here, but not all of them are in here as usual. There's a few blank ones, so I think it's Edinburgh crystal. I just can't find the pattern, the exact pattern. It's a real pain. I've even Googled as well, but that failed too. Got Val St Lambert Harlequin glasses. Now that I've got a pile of catalogues, we can try and look these up and yeah, see if we can get a date or anything. And really nice quality. So I have a lot of Val St Lambert catalogues. The latest one I have is 1957. Now, this type of glass, this is the 1933 catalogue. This is in the Glass Musterbouche website. And this is the earliest one that's kind of like what we were looking at there. You see these 2 here, but they've got hexagonal bases to go with the way the top is, which doesn't quite go together. And I thought, well, the largest one I have is 1957. What are they doing today? Because I know they're still going. They're in Belgium, by the way. And yes, I found this. This is the bowl is a different shape. The colours are different. But don't do that. Don't do that. I'll do that then. Okay. So the way this part is very similar. You got but I would say from here downwards, it's the same glass. So I think, as I said, I think those glasses are relatively recent because there's no glasses that are like this in 1957. This is actually the one that they're making today is closer to the one that's in the cabinet than anything that they were making in 1957. So in my brain, that says is closer to today than it is to 1957. Just my thoughts, that's all. I need more catalogues, that's what I need. I need more catalogues. Anyway, but this style of glass with these big cut panels with the, cased glass. This is called cased because you've got 2 layers. They dip this in and then they cut it away. So they've been doing it you know, for a long time, the earlier patterns are more complex, etc., etc., fancy, but with just the panels like this, 1933. I could go back to sort of like, what's the earliest one I've got on here? Let me show you. So these are the ones I've got downloaded, 1878. So yeah, so when you're going back that early, they're more fancy and not just like flat cut panels. I think this might be Medina. It says signed, but we can try and find that. Let's see if I look underneath. Yeah, it's just, if it's going to be a signature, it's not a press signature, so I think I've seen that pattern before, and I think it's Medina, and we can try and find that. Looking at the 20th Century Glass website, and I found this. So this is the same colorway as what we're looking at, this like motley blobby white pattern with these red and yellow blobby bits on top. This one's actually got the label, and you can see the signature on that. It's not very clear though, is it? It says that's the M, and then that's the D, and it does look like an EL, but that's a D. That bit they should touch there. Dina, that's what it says. Medina, but without the E, not Medina, Medina. Hang on. Yeah, you can see here, look, M-D-I-N-A. Yes. So I did actually do a little bit of searching, a bit of whoosh, 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 Googling. And you can see there's like slightly different colorways with it. Some of them are sort of like pink and green. There's like yellow with black edges. But it's all this same white mottled effect. I did find one that's relatively close. This is fairly close to what we were looking at. Because these are all hand done, it's all, you know, not blown into a mold or anything. They're all going to be slightly different. And also, you have to think, this white effect is basically they've started blowing a clear blob, then they roll it in some white bits of glass, and then they roll it in some coloured bits of glass. In fact, they just dip one side in it to create the streak, and in the case of that vase, they dip it in some red and dip it in some yellow, and then they finish the vase, and it's all done by hand. So none of these are going to be exactly the same. There's going to be sort of randomness about them. But yeah, this is the closest one, and they've said it's Medina, and they've shown the bottom. The picture will change, but you can't really read it, that one, because it's indistinct. Probably a bit like that one there. So anyway, that's what it is. It's a Medina from Malta. Got here a Bristol Brew decanter. It's imitating sort of like decanters from around 1800. Yeah, there's no proper. It's got broken pontle there, I think. It's very faintly done, but there's not enough wear for it to be 200 years old. But yeah, and this is not properly cut, sharply cut. And I've never noticed that before. It's hollow, the peg. But anyway, we can look this up. I'll show you what it is. So I've got here the Bristol Blue catalogue. It was part of Thomas Webb & Sons, but this is the Bristol Blue catalogue for 1975. Okay, and they were doing a lot of Bristol Blue reproduction stuff. And there's our decanter here. Look, even the stopper is the same type. You can see it's flattened here, just like that one was, but it's not been polished as such. So I think this is the same decanter. I do also have the 1996 Bristol Blue decanter, blue catalogue, and yeah, that decanter's not there. They do these ones here by 1996, but there's no tapered decanter with the lozenge stopper. They've got these ones with these bullseyes. I think these are actually ball stoppers, I think. Yeah, so that means that decanter's at least 30 years old, possibly 40, maybe 50. but it's at least 30 years old. I would be dating it as that's a 75. I would be confidently saying, you could confidently say 50 years old, because that's at least one start date that you can use as a point of entry for it. I think this is Empoli. They've just had green glass vase. We can try and find this. I'm fairly certain it's Empoli. I've seen it in one of the references somewhere. So yeah, we'll find that. So I found this jug here, and it's on Etsy, which is the worst, one of the worst references you can get online. It says it's a mid-century modern Empoli pitcher, they're calling it, which probably means it's American Empoli because they're calling it a pitcher. So what this is an Empoli Rossini and Stelvio Opalina Fiorentina jug. Yes. And it sort of doesn't look anything like the jug that we were looking at, but the shape is exactly the same. I reckon this jug is blown into the same mold as the other one we looked at. So this is a cased jug, so it's layers of glass. So you'd start with a white layer, so you'd start with basically a blob of white glass, then you'd put a blob of pale blue on it, and then you'd have probably a clear case on top of it, and then you'd blow the whole lot into a shape. The other one is just straightforward blue. This is a more valuable jug. You know, there's more technique in doing this. It's not quite so easy, but the way the handle is done, the shape of this, everything is about it. The shape-wise is exactly the same. The other one has been blown into a crisscross mold first, and then blown into this shape, and that's how it's got that pattern on it. So yeah, so that's what it is. It is Empoli, and it's a Rossini and Stelvio is the name of the maker, I believe. The Opalina Fiorentina is this colour we've got here, which that jug is not. So I don't know what that jug would be called, but I believe it's a Rossini and Stelvio jug. And it's from the 1960s. Got some baby shams here. We've got some of the original ones from the 50s, these white ones. Yeah, I've got 4 of those, and then 2 of these brown ones. I can't remember what period these are from with the straight legs, because there's ones like this with straight legs and ones with bent legs, and I can't remember exactly which way around that goes. So we'll look those up and I'll show you those as well, the references we've got. So the reference I'm going to use is from a blog called The Life of D. She did this like 10 years ago. So anyway, how to date baby sham glasses, and it's really done nicely. So if we scroll down, white ones like that. Oh, I can't do that. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, the white ones with its feet all together, they're from the 1950s. Okay. The brown ones with the legs spread out are from the 60s. So we've got 4 white 50s ones and 2 60s ones. And then I was talking about with the legs bent back. This is with the legs bent back. 1970s, it's yellow with the legs bent back, and 1980s it's brown again with the legs bent back, and it looks a bit more cartoony like on the 80s. And then you've got these other ones that they're showing, and there's more I've seen where there's like a 2001 and other bits and pieces. So yeah, anyway, that's what it is. We've got 4 1950s ones and 2 1960s ones. You need to check the prices because they are different. The white ones definitely have a premium over all the others. Got this here. So it looks like a Sowerby plate, but it's actually Stozzle. If you look here, you see these little flanges on the back. Yeah, I can show you those in the catalogue. Get part number for it and everything. Yeah, they're quite interesting. I just like that there's two designs that are almost exactly the same, but not quite. And it'll be pre-war, it'll be 1930s. So we're looking at a Stozzle catalogue here that came with the book Art Before Industry 20th Century Czech Press Glass by Marcus Newell. And this is the little plate that we're looking at here. It's a 19274. This will be from the 1930s, although it says pre-1958. This catalogue, it doesn't give you an exact date, but I know these are from the 1930s. And I did mention that it's similar to a Sowerby plate that's similar. And if you look at these ones, you can actually see the ones up here. You can see this little flange that I was trying to point out here. Yeah, where it sticks out. Now, this is Sowerby's 1940 catalogue, and you can see here it's a very similar plate. The difference is it's got like a little crease here, there's a little V, and then there's no flange here. Yeah, so very similar looking. If you see them right next to each other, then they're kind of like brothers or something. Yeah, they're not quite the same, but they're very similar. Anyway, so it's Stozzle from Czech Republic, 1930s. Check it out. Cherry Veloz. It says G Vallon. I don't remember that maker. Is it written on it somewhere? Oh yeah, G Vallon. I don't know if that's going to pick up on the camera, but it says it there quite clearly. Never heard of them. So we will look these guys up, find out about them as a company, see if we can find any catalogues or anything, see if we can get a year for it or anything like that. So this G Vallon is a bit of a mystery, and I think I've been able to track it down. Now when you put in G Vallon glass, 90% of oil, 95% of what you're looking at is cherry bowls. Cherry bowls, cherry bowls, cherry bowls, and more cherry bowls. Yeah. So I did go to Glass Message Board, and they have no idea. This is people that usually know. There's a couple of lines on this talking about it, but they do not know. But I think I do now, because I was punting around and someone mentioned, I think it was this one, a Sabino French glass bowl by G Vallon. Now, nobody's that's talked, when I was looking, nobody that talks about G Vallon talks about Sabino. It's like two separate things. Yeah, it does look a bit like a Sabino bowl, but is it? Now, I did find this website here, and there's no cherries on here. No cherries on here with all these different bowls. But do you remember when I said, oh, 95% of it is 95% of it is cherries. The other thing is this. So this is signed as G Vallon, and it's got these shells, and then it's got this little bit here that goes like this, and there's like a couple of these. That's the same one. Where else? I've seen another one somewhere. Anyway, that's what I've seen. Yeah, there's a couple on here that are like that one that are signed G Vallon. So you're going, okay. And then when I went back here, I saw this one here. And unfortunately, there's only one picture, and it's from the side, but you can see this thing that runs up here. So this is the same bowl. Look, with the 3 shells, and then this piece here runs up here. You can just see the edges of it. So this is it. It's in the Sabino website, Sabino Art Glass website. This is a sale. They're selling this one for $508. This is America, yeah. So you can almost ignore those kind. And this is probably top dollar because they specialize in this. So they're probably already paying whatever they have to do to get it just to have the stock. So yeah. So anyway, yeah, I think it's Sabino. G. Vallon must be the artist, because nobody knows who G. Vallon is. And as I said, going through this sort of like the stories about it, blah blah blah. Signed, I have several pieces of glassware, molded glassware, signed G. Vallon. France, no idea. Blah blah blah, and they're just talking about it, and they said go to this place, and then I went there, and then there's like more talking and more talking and more, and nobody knows. They've got bits and pieces of glass, but they don't know. So anyway, I think it's Sabino, and so prices need to be checked against Sabino glass. I looked in it. Actually, did look in eBay, and there are millions, and in here nobody's saying Sabino, they're all just saying G. Vallon. So yeah, I did look. This is what I mean about this, like this separation between Sabino and G. Vallon is like trying to find it joined up is, yeah, I've not found it apart from that website. So there you have it. Yeah, this is, to me, this is a new place. I love to go to new places because there's things quite often. How can I say this? There's probably nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. I can say that with pretty definite. So when you go to a new place, there'll be things that might have been languishing on the shelves, underpriced forever because nobody knew, but you might be the person that knows. Yeah, so that's why I like to go to new places, because quite often when I go first time, that's when I find stuff. Those languishers that have been there forever. Anyway, with that said, all the references I use will be in the description below. All the contact details for Lockhouse Antiques will be in the description below, and please remember to like and subscribe because it really helps my channel. And thank you for watching, and have a good night. Good night.